Apologize to our viewers for that 3-minute delay. I'm joined right now, of course, by the journalist formerly known as Thomas Paine. I've got Michael Moore of True Pundit. Michael, how are you?
Hey, Jason, doing good.
So just a little bit of a delay there getting everything ready. We're going to be, of course, in just 27 minutes going live on Patreon with what should prove to be an historic episode. We're going to be releasing the documents that have been supplied by Larry Klayman of Freedom Watch. Of course, people who watch Crowdsource the Truth will remember that Larry prevailed in a FOIA lawsuit against Robert Mueller's Special Counsel office. Back in July, Judge Emmett Sullivan ruled that the Special Counsel would have to turn over all of its communications with the press. Larry has surmised that the Special Counsel's office has been leaking grand jury information, and so in just 26 minutes, sponsors of True Pundit, Freedom Watch, or Crowdsource the Truth can join us on patreon.com/TruePundit, patreon.com/FreedomWatch, or of course, patreon.com/CrowdsourceTheTruth, where we will be going into a deep dive as to exactly what those documents contain. Michael, thank you so much for joining me for this. You and I have been working on this for the past several days since we received the documents. You've been uncovering incredible stuff, and we hope that everyone will join us on Patreon for that. As I look at True Pundit today, there are a number of stories that you guys have that I think tie in quite nicely with what we're going to be reviewing. The first one that comes to mind is this article that you guys had about McCabe and Strzok caught destroying evidence during their final days at the FBI. This seems to be the standard operating procedure for all these swamp rats. What can you tell us about this?
Well, a lot of people wonder, why are these guys still lingering around at the FBI? Why haven't they been taken out the door and kicked to the curb? So we find out there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a whole backstory to this that's really incredible. But we find out that they set up like a sting operation with DOJ, Inspector General, and some guys at the FBI. And I think Ray was Christopher Ray, the director, Christopher Ray, was behind putting this together to try to see what these guys would do in their final days. And they kind of kept them around a lot longer than they should have. Well, one of the reasons was they wanted Strzok to testify on Capitol Hill, and I think completely embarrass himself. After that was over, they could get rid of him. They had documented the evidence that they wanted against Strzok. Now, McCabe and Strzok left at different times, but their MO was similar. They were allegedly deleting files, electronic files and documents to try to destroy evidence of what instances they had been accused of. We don't know specifically exactly what they were deleting, but it's just described as evidence.
Wow.
So when you look at this, and then the matter has been kicked to a grand jury now, and we heard from someone in DOJ, the Huber, the Utah Attorney General, the U.S. Attorney from Utah, not the Utah Attorney General, the U.S. Attorney, is working some type of a grand jury now, and getting into the witness phase, which is usually the secondary phase. Well, it depends. Every U.S. attorney has a different way of going about things, but basically, these guys got caught with their hand in the cookie jar, and I think there's going to be, from what we understand, there's going to be at least a grand jury, which is progress.
Yeah,
compared to what usually happens. Nothing usually happens.
I'm super impressed with Ray for doing that, setting up a little internal sting to catch Mr. McCabe with his hand in the cookie jar. I mean, that is like a breakthrough right there, Michael.
I mean, I've been critical of Ray, and perhaps I was wrong about him. But let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
Something has to happen. Otherwise, it's in my estimation, it's all for naught. If he doesn't do anything and nothing happens, what's the point?
Well, but that's pretty unprecedented,
I think
isn't it?
It's progress, and we're usually the only ones that get stuff like that, which is good.
Right.
And in like 6 months, it'll probably go mainstream like it always does.
Right.
But that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. We've actually grown used to that, and so that's kind of now. There's a whole backstory to that we can get into later tonight, but I think we'll probably be a little bit busy tonight.
Right. Exactly. Because of course we're going to be having this intel drop. We're going to be releasing the FOIA documents obtained by Freedom Watch, and we're going to be doing that only on Patreon. And the reason behind that, of course, Michael, is that we're trying to create a troll-reduced environment, a dramatically troll-reduced environment, and Patreon helps us with that quite a bit. Additionally, despite the fact that people want all this information to be free, it's very expensive to run TruePundit.com and also Crowdsource the Truth, and we want to make sure that this is a sustainable effort. People should definitely be going to TruePundit.com, getting their news there, and they can support the effort through TruePunditShop.com, or of course just clicking on the sponsorship link on the main page. I would advise all the people who are writing to us and suggesting that we do these types of things for free, that maybe they could direct those emails over to CNN and ask them why they're running so many damn commercials during the day. Of course, Crowdsource the Truth is a commercial-free environment, so we definitely want to encourage people to sponsor on patreon.com/TruePundit or patreon.com/Crowdsource the Truth. And of course, tonight's show you can also see if you're a sponsor of patreon.com/Freedom Watch. And we will be making the documents available sometime after the show for the general public. But we want to make sure that our sponsors, our dedicated listeners, the people that are most serious about this information, are going to have access to download it without the server getting jammed up and all that kind of thing, and to dig in there as quickly as they can. We want to get feedback from the crowd.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, I got a couple notes today saying, hey, charging for information isn't cool. And I said, nobody said anybody is being charged for information. We're going to roll this out on the show. This is a new show. This has come along at a good time because we just started this show. So
Right.
It's come along at a great time, and a lot of it has to do with you and Larry. But we're going to roll it out at 8 o'clock, and then it'll be public after that. But it gives the people that subscribe and to you and me.
Whoa. Wait a minute. We lost you there, Michael. Let me, that's very curious. Oh, you're back.
It gives those folks an opportunity to get it first. What's the matter with that? And then other people are going to get it later.
Very curious to see how these types of disruptions occur once we start getting into some serious information. You were saying, Michael?
Yeah, keep getting interrupted. But anyway, I think there's nothing wrong with exclusivity. People get it first, and then it goes out the door to everybody else, and they can have a crack at it. Now, there's so many of these emails, I haven't been able to get through them all. I think there's like 3,000, 4,000 pages or something. I've probably gone through maybe 5 or 500. And then I had conversations today with the Special Counsel's office, too, about some of the stuff that I thought I didn't really like that was going on. And I think there's a lot to talk about. So I don't even know what's in these things. I got through maybe 500. I wanted to get through more today, but there was so much going on the last 2 days that I just couldn't get it. And I guess that's okay because we want people to be able to download these things and draw their own conclusions from them. And we'll talk about with Larry some of the problematic areas.
We'll get into the deep dive on the Patreon show. We just want
there
everybody.
Are some problematic areas. I mean, there's some.
Absolutely.
I think there's some strange things going on here.
No doubt. no doubt. And look, I mean, we're not trying to charge for information, but like everybody's got a job that they do, and it would be great if it was like Star Trek and everything was free and everybody had a job and food and all that. But that's also kind of communism, and Larry's running a law firm that's bringing these FOIA lawsuits. That costs money. He's got to travel around.
I don't think you have to like. I think most people appreciate what's going on, and I don't think you have to get mired down in maybe a couple squeaky wheels that say they don't like it, because I think for the most part, people speak with their wallet. If they didn't like it, they wouldn't be paying. So I don't think we have to get mired down in a couple noisy people who knows. Some of these people might be plants. I mean, I don't know. You can't. Time will tell. I noticed a lot of people on my thing the other night making, disparaging remarks. Just kind of let it go, and we'll monitor that as things go on. But the reason we're on this thing is so we can get rid of some of these knuckleheads that are on Twitter. They're always messing with us. And if you say something wrong to them, you get reported. The next thing you know, your account gets suspended. You can't even approach these people and get in their face, because that's kind of what they're doing. They're trying to bait you.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, that was Larry right there. We're just, everything's getting really close here. So I'm sorry to interrupt on what you were saying, Michael, but there's obviously...
We'll talk at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll talk at 8 o'clock. So if people are not yet sponsoring True Pundit on patreon.com/True Pundit or Freedom Watch at patreon.com/Freedom Watch or Crowdsource the Truth, I would encourage people to do that. You can go to patreon.com/Crowdsource the Truth, and sponsors of any of these three entities will get exclusive access not only to the live stream where we're going to begin this deep dive, but also to the FOIA download, and we're going to make that available only to Patreon sponsors. So we'll be live in just 15 minutes. Michael, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break right now. We will get the show going, and I want to just get Larry connected in, and there's a lot of information for us to go over.
Okay.
All right. So we'll see you back in just 15 minutes on patreon.com/True Pundit, patreon.com/Freedom Watch, and patreon.com/Crowdsource the Truth. I want to thank all of our generous Patreon sponsors, and I want to encourage all of our viewers to join us on Patreon. Far fewer trolls there. We aren't under the control of Google, and we can share this type of controversial information without the worry of being struck or cut off otherwise. Michael, I'll see you in 15. Thanks very much.
Okay, man. No problem.
Take care. Thanks, everybody. See you on Patreon.